like to me, I was like, we're doomed. Like, I'm sorry to say that, but in my mind, in that moment, I like, when I say like I gave up hope, I was kind of like, bro, the peaceful ain't working. Like, the social media ain't working.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about people like Candace Owens who support Trump and completely argue with a lot of people about what you just talked about?
So we're talking about Ray right now is what you're talking about? Okay.
I said Candace Owens.
I know what you said.
Ray, who's Ray Ray?
We talk about Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
We don't talk about Ray Lewis.
No, I'm talking about what you just said, the whole Charlottesville thing.
But in Charlottesville, there was these. If you don't know this, I will educate you. So there was these riots that happened in Charlottesville. Correct me if I'm wrong, AJ, because the date is burned in my brain, and the only reason I know this is because I had a show in Baltimore the day afterwards. But it was August 11th. Yep, August 11th, 2017. These neo-Nazi white supremacists marched through Charlottesville with tiki torches.
Yep.
And
that was the biggest sale that tiki torches had in a while.
Yeah, you feel me? That's what we like. We use that in our backyards to keep mosquitoes out. Like, what you mean? Like,
Is that the same one that the car started running over everybody?
Yes, that's when because me and Robert were talking the other day about the Black Klansmen, and the last I think it's like the last 2 to 3 minutes of the actual movie, there's footage from the Charlottesville riots.
Oh man!
Like now, mind you, that's what that is. Why did Trump not take the stance to say, I denounce that? To me, that was his one shot. Like, that to me, I'm not saying could have saved the country, but it could have slowed the bleeding down.
I'll do you one better.
Yeah, and I've heard.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I said I'll do you one better. Why is it that the Ku Klux Klan has not been looked at as a terrorist organization yet? All of these years, it's been established, and it has not been announced. The Ku Klux Klan has not been recognized as a terrorist organization, even after all the crimes and atrocities it has committed over the years.
Yeah, you know what's funny? And I don't condone it. Like I said, all death is wrong. But, bro, we will send bombs to, these third world countries where they're full of sand looking for ISIS. These people only have machetes. We have domestic terrorism in our own country.
You know what tripped me off even more about when Trump said that was the fact that not only were some of these people Klansmen, some of these people were Nazis.
Yeah.
Nazis. You just called Nazis. Fine group of people. We had a whole war.
Yeah.
The world was involved with Nazis.
That's why, and it sounds negative, but for me, I was like, yo, we're doomed. And I shouldn't have to feel that way. But that was the reality for me. I'm like, bro, are you? I was like, and then when I saw it on TV, I was like, did I watch a different version of the news today? I saw that, I was like, bro, this gotta be the director's cut. I was really tripped up. This is the scary movie version of life. But no, it was literally happening. I didn't want to believe it, AJ. Because I was at work, bro. And my man's came in the store, was like, are you all right? He was like, yeah, because this is that and the third. What are you talking about? And he showed me on my phone right before he got a Slurpee, and then I was traumatized with that for the rest of my shift. I'm like, yo, what in the they are very fine people though. You feel me? That's why, for me, look, man, Saul became Paul at one point. He is the only reason when I say I have hope for Donald Trump, because I have hope in Christ. That is the only reason, because Saul was a terrorist before he became Paul, and he ended up being one of the biggest crusaders in the kingdom of God. That is literally the one thing I hang on to when it comes to that man, because the same way he stood across that street and took that picture with that Bible in his hand, 5 minutes before that picture was taken, he sent tear gas to peaceful protesters that were obeying curfew laws. But people during these Charlottesville riots, AJ probably knows about this, they had police escorts.
Yep.
They had literal police escorts walking by these people like, oh, we got you. We'll make sure that nobody tries to pollute your message. Bro, we don't get even close to that same energy.
Our police escorts tell us to go home.
Article?
Did I read that article you sent me?
Yeah.
If it's about a Ray or Uncle Tom, I don't. No, I didn't read it.
It was the Washington Post. And it was about the said subject you're talking about the tear gas and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know the facts. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you what was right and what was wrong. They covered the article was about the debate on why they used the force that they used, and the so-called reasons was there was threats and different things. You'll have to read the article yourself. I'm not gonna quote it justice and try to act, I'm not standing up for it, whatever.
Gotcha.
But I think there's more information out there, and I think that's the number one thing is we all have to, seek to understand. I think, there's a lot of times we can come to conclusions very fast with different things because of past experiences, even for me. And that's why I'm kind of here. I just want to seek to understand and get better and do better.
I understand. Even, and like I said, and this is going back because I wasn't even thinking about ISIS until what AJ had said, but the amount of force, no, I mean, for real, the amount of force that, my man hops on Twitter at 1:00 in the morning to say, I'm bombing this desert because there's an ISIS hut with machetes out here. But the police escort.
Well, we celebrated it when Obama said that he killed, what's the guy's name?
Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden. Same
yeah,
thing.
And but here's the thing though, is now, this is why, and this is where the tension is though, is yes, that happened, but ISIS had nothing to do with us. I'm sorry, but we ain't nothing to do with that. I get Osama, he bombed he bombed a building, a base, bombed 2 buildings, a base, and I think the one of the 4th flight, they were able to stop them from crashing the 4th plane to wherever that target was, but that happened, and Bush couldn't get it done. Obama got it done in what, year 3, AJ? Year 2?
Year 3, I want to say.
I want to say that, but, and this isn't a keeping money. It's not. I don't think it's even a scorecard thing. But it's yo, why is it not labeled as a domestic terrorist group? Oh, why? Because they burned a pretty little cross on my front yard. That was so cute. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right. I have tension for that because people keep saying Donald Trump is a Christian man. Yeah, I mean.
So was O.J. Simpson.
So is Hitler. You feel me?
And so was Paul.
Yeah, so was Paul before Saul. But my point is
and so was Peter and Judas. And...
Absolutely. My thing is that is the thing I hang on to because I'm I believe anybody can change.
Right.
But I feel for me, and this the only reason I feel that, honestly, this is the main reason I feel this way is because Rob, if you're in ministry and you're leading or something and you're not walking right or you're not doing something right, and it ends up working into your ministry and you end up polluting your ministry, you're encouraged to step down.
Mm-hmm. But we're also held to a higher standard than us as Christians. We're held to a higher standard than.
And that's why this podcast is called. That's why this episode is called the church. I don't want to blame Christianity. The Christians in church fail the Black community because if we're not doing it right, don't do it at all, man. There's no reason I should be held to a higher standard to the celebrity in chief. I'm sorry. And this is another thing I want to talk on. You know what? We'll talk about it. I really didn't want to. AJ, you might have fun with this. But Robert asks us, how do we feel about people like Candace Owens? I'll give you another one. I'm happy he lost his job. Terrible, I know. Headbutt a knife. Jason Whitlock, who in many cases, in my case for Jason Whitlock, he literally has built his career on the backs of belittling and degrading people of color, even though he fits that description. How do you feel about that?
You reap what you sow. That's the best thing I can say.
You reap what you sow. That's a simple answer.
You reap what you sow. People like them, people like Ray Lewis. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put like what's her name? I'm gonna put Oprah in that same category. And I'll put her friend, what was her friend's name? Gladys something?
Gayle King.
Gayle King.
Gayle King, I think her name is.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them in the same subject. You reap what you sow. I mean, when you know the problem, and when you willingly know the problem, and you, instead of trying to figure out how to solve the problem, you add more fuel to the problem to encourage the problem to continue, then when failure comes about you, it's self-creative. You made it yourself.
It's kind of like
research, because I have no idea what any of you guys are talking about.
Good for you to, don't worry, I'm gonna be the responsible one and post all the links that of all the topics we're gonna talk about in the description on all my platforms. So if anybody wants to be educated on any of these subjects, if you don't believe me, God bless you, use your discernment batteries. But if you want to seek the information, I will make all these posts available to you. People that are also watching this and you want to help in that, I'm going to be looking in the comment section. Please don't pollute it with no BS. Don't pollute it with no, I could teach you how to make 50. Yeah, but no, I can't do that. I don't want to see I could teach you how to make $50,000 at home if you just don't do that. Don't do that with this. Like, this is serious.
You don't want the click the link to watch the
no, I don't want
movie?
I don't want no clickbait of no kitty bouncing on no pogo stick. Nah, I don't want none of that.
But to kind of give you a quick idea as to why Ray Lewis, Gayle King, and Oprah are put in the same and my camera messed up again. Why to put in the same category? Ray Lewis, back when the Kaepernick kneeling issue was at its peak, Ray Lewis pretty much put himself in a corner. He said one thing and it did another. For example, he pretty much said that the Kaepernick kneel, as well as it was a good gesture. And again, I'm paraphrasing and everything. I don't know if his tweets are still up. You might be able to find it in an older article. But even
matter of fact, you know what? And like I said, I'll post all the links. He said it on national television on an episode of FS1 featuring Shannon Sharp and our white brother in arms, Skip Bayless.
Shannon Sharp, that show is one of my favorite shows.
Skip, listen here, Skip.
Hey, why
yeah, that was so good.
Why you do that? You gotta like have your tongue stuck to the bottom of your lip when you say it. Why'd you do that? Why you do my man like that?
Come on, Skip.
Shout out to Shannon Sharp, by the way. If I could get you to watch this, that'd be great. Sweet. But continue, AJ.
But Ray Lewis was on the episode, and again, just paraphrasing, summing it up, he pretty much said that the Kaepernick kneel, as justified as it is, or justified as it was at the time, it served no purpose being in the NFL. That it's just not the place to do it. And then turned around, I want to say maybe 2 weeks later, possibly 3, during a Ravens game, and knelt with the whole Ravens team. And he didn't just get on one knee, he got on both knees. And so,
nah, man, but he was praying, yo. You remember that? He said he was praying, man. Don't do Ray like that. He said he was praying, man. You feel me? Like, he literally, and the funny thing is, Charlemagne the God predicted this too, because he said, I guarantee when Ray Lewis, he said it before he gave him donkey of the day. He said, I guarantee if he ever kneels, he's going to tell everybody he was praying. And then after he kneeled, he said, I bet he's going to say he was praying. This man went on, I was praying for our country. I'm like, bro, if you say it's wrong to kneel in that gesture during that time period, in that setting is wrong, why'd you do it? Like,
Exactly.
I can't stand people that swim that don't want to get wet. That don't make no doggone sense. Stop serving half-cooked chicken.
Like that should be the title of this episode.
That probably should be the title of this. I might have to get some T-shirts made. Shoot.
And then as for
make it a
part of the
TikTok.
chicken.
No, part of the profit from the shirts.
Oh,
I'll donate I might actually think about doing that and then apply scripture and I'll donate the funds to the cause because I don't want that money on my hands. But that I keep saying it because it's so true. I'm like, bro, if you're gonna swim, you're gonna get wet. If you're gonna like I'm sorry to say this, but sometimes when you cook bacon, you'll get some bacon grease on you. Like, if you're going to be about something, be about it. If you're gonna do it like Nike or don't do it at all. Period. Give me no half-cooked chicken.
Yep. I think it's hard because we don't know the full part of like how people really are. And we only see like a picture of what they want us to see. Like with Ray Lewis, we don't see him behind doors. We don't see if he's really that way.
Yeah, but the problem that's the problem. But and sorry, AJ, but the problem is, and this is why I take my platform so seriously because I do have influence and I do have people that ingest what I say. I have to be responsible for every word I speak and every tweet I tweet. You feel me? So with that, he spoke and let people know where he stood. And then contrary of that, man, you know how quick the people were like, take down that statue. I didn't want to defend him. I don't know why I didn't. Like, I couldn't do it because one, I'm a Giants fan. I probably lost 1,000 subscribers to that. And two,
all right, guys, that's my cue.
and two, it's like, bro, like, come on, man. If you ain't gonna be about it, don't be about it. If you're gonna be about it, be about it. Can't be two though. Can you imagine if somebody served in the Civil War and went with the Confederacy and then the Union? Like, you really looking like what?
That happened.
It did though. It did.
Yep.
But it happens today too, and that's where it irritates me.
And that leads us to the next two, Oprah and Gayle. Oprah and Gayle are the same kind of Benedict Arnolds, if you will. The reason Oprah and Gayle are classified in this is because Oprah, as you know, is a billionaire. She made her money, and she brought up Gayle. Gayle's her best friend. Those two are like Thelma and Louise.
Gayle's the lady on the news network, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And Oprah owns her own like actual like channel, like her own network called the Oprah Winfrey Network, or OWN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And although she has done well for herself, and she is a staple in Black culture as a Black woman to look towards to as a role model, she does have skeletons in her closet as well as Gayle. And the skeletons pretty much is that they are quick to do oppressive interviews when it comes to bringing down a Black celebrity. But when it comes to interviewing a white celebrity, they don't touch it. For example, when the Cosby thing happened and Harvey Weinstein thing happened and the R. Kelly thing happened, they were quick to try to get interviews with R. Kelly and Cosby and their families and friends and things like that. But they never once touched Weinstein. And you can run with the excuse that Weinstein is Oprah's friend because they go way back and everything like that. But when you go back to other situations and two people of two different colors do the same crime, Oprah is quick to shoot down, for example, Michael Jackson. She wanted to do a whole documentary that would basically tarnish Michael Jackson's name. And a lot of Black people were just like, no, like, stop.
You know what? I'm not surprised by people about Oprah, because Oprah is like, when people are like, why does Oprah talk the way she talks? I'm like, Oprah's just controlled by white people. That's why. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's it. Like, you think of like, what's this sister's name, AJ? The one that wilded out on Wendy Williams, on the Wendy Williams show. You know what I'm talking about? Like, but basically, like, yo, like that stuff is corny to me. Like that's another example of enforcing like white supremacy. Like that, it irritates me when I get that, because I just think of Samuel L. Jackson and Django, bro, and I'm like, what? That's institutionalization. Like, that's Stockholm syndrome. Like, where do you get that? Where do you get that?
And that's honestly one of my favorite movies is Django. But
well, what do you guys think about Candace Owen then? Because she's the only one I really know anything about. And I know, like, I watched her on a panel with T.I., Killer Mike, and there was one other guy there. But they were all like getting in a super heated discussion with her because she supports like Trump and everything like that, and they all think that he's completely racist.
Were you referring to the conference that happened last year where it was like T.I., Killer Mike? I think it was her and somebody else, I forgot.
I think so. Yeah, I saw it on YouTube. It was a really good thing though.
My personal opinion, she's an idiot. She doesn't know any better, and if she does know, then I respect her in the sense that she is willing to deal with the consequences of her choices.
It's the money, man. I mean, like, that's the only thing that boils down to.
Yeah, there are some people who I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there are some people even in our own Black culture that will, sell us out, using quotations there, will sell us out just so they can get a dollar bill in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then to replace them, we have people like yourself and people like Lori who are genuine, who are coming from the other side and they're saying, how can we help?
Who get invited to the cookout as long as they don't bring no half-cooked chicken. Like,
never.
Or half seasoned.
Yeah, Rick and Liana came over to my house. What was it, Sunday? He brought over ribs. Oh my gosh, they were so good.
Y'all making me hungry. Stop it.
I don't know how you get hungry from half-cooked chicken, but okay. Like,
no, the ribs.
But to piggyback off of like AJ, like, it burns me up because it's self-hatred, and it's once again enforcing white supremacy. Like, I've heard Jason Whitlock for literally over like 15 plus years put down Black athletes, and numerous times, I mean like numerous times, man. He put down Kobe Bryant his whole career. Then, because it's a trending topic, he want to be crying. When I say he want to be crying, he want to have all these nice things to say about him and give him his flowers when he ain't even put in the ground yet. Like, I have reservations with that because you spoke
about
ill.
Ben Carson.
I want to give him these gifted hands, but continuing what my point was, like, yo, like he craps on our backs and then tries to sit at a table with us and be like, I'm one of you. Like, no,
yeah.
Like, and I know cancel culture is wrong, but we have a responsibility as a Black people. I do think cancel culture is wrong because I think that's toxic. Our community has always been so welcoming and has been so open of arms of everybody that wants to come in and come to the barbecue and whatnot. But we have to start holding our people accountable. Like, we can't let Kanye slide with slavery was a choice just because he made graduation. Okay. I'm just keeping it $150. Like, we can't let OJ slide because he was one of the best running backs of all time, but I'm not Black, I'm OJ. Like, we can't let them
OJ
slide.
Didn't do it though.
Okay. We're not gonna debate that. There was no video on that, but I'm not even gonna be close. I don't want that. I don't even want the cops to be called on me. What do you think happened? Bro, I was probably in my dad's testicles. I don't know when this was taking place. I don't know what was going on. So, like, but yeah, man, like when stuff like that happens, bro, like it's just sad. I pray for those folks because, like I said, it's just another form of white supremacy because it's like, yo, you're demonizing people and you come from the same people. Like your ancestors was on that shit too. Do you not forget that? Like, and AJ might agree with me on this. I don't know. Some people appreciate it. I really don't. But I have a problem when people white-splain things to me. And when I say that, I mean, like, and I'll probably put it in a more term that's understandable. For women, for instance, like feminists don't want to hear things women go through and how we should make things better for women from men. Like, they don't want to hear it. Like, it sounds terrible, but like, they don't want to have that discussion with them, or they don't want them speaking for them because they've been doing it wrong. Like, and men participate in we've all participated in like rape culture is why I say stuff like this. And it could just be something as little as misogyny. Like, women don't want to hear us be the spokesperson for that. Like,
Because you didn't go through it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear about how I should feel as a Knicks fan. And I deal with depression because my team sucks. And you're a Bulls fan. Like, you got a documentary. Like, bro, like, I had Jeremy Lin. That was it. But, and then, like, I go to say that, like, with the, like, I appreciate my white brothers and sisters, but I don't want, when they lend their voices, I don't want it to be disguised as, like, when people say, I will never understand, I appreciate them saying that and recognizing that. I hate when, I don't like to use the word hate, but I don't like when I hear from, like, my white brothers and sisters, I do understand what you're going through, and then they try to speak up for me. And I'm like, no. I was on that cruise. My people were on that cruise. Don't do that. You know what I mean? I will, when I know that, like, these, like, things of, like, I didn't have to be a homosexual or bully a homosexual to know that hate crime is wrong against homosexuals. But it's not my place as a straight man to speak up and be the figurehead for homosexuality. You get what I'm saying? That, I don't know how you feel about that, AJ. And then after AJ, we can get Lori and Robert's thoughts about that.
I mean, it's not my place to speak about anybody else's struggle but my own.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. I 100% agree. Like, I can't. Now, if someone else is belittling, I'll quick to jump in and say, like, chill out.
Mm-hmm.
To call a gay man like a faggot or something like that. I am a very quick reaction type. So I do a lot of physical before I do a lot of talking, which is why I kind of stay in the house most often. Because that is just how it is. Like, my wife will handle a lot of the problems that we may have outside before I get involved, because that's just how I am. But no, everyone has a struggle, and you're not going to understand that person's point of view unless you talk to them. And even then, you can only, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you can only empathize, not sympathize. Or it's the other way around. I forget which one is which.
I think empathy is, yes, I think empathy is trying to understand somebody else's pain. I think sympathize is trying to, and somebody get Webster involved. Hold on. But, like, and I'll do it myself because, I'm not on my phone doing this with y'all. But sympathy to me, I guess, like, if I'm just going to paraphrase it after I get the definition, but sympathy is feelings of pity and sorrow for somebody else's misfortune, understanding between people and common feelings. So I get what, and if we go off of the Webster's
Was that sympathy or empathy?
sympathy. So with
Okay,
that,
well, I've got empathy when you're ready.
sure, we'll hear it.
It says empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another.
So in a weird way, those words are kind of like synonymous. But to say when people say like, I completely understand what you're going through, and I get that when you're in the conversation of talking to me, but like, this is my scar. You feel me? Like, and then when I say like, I don't like when people white splain things to me, I don't like being told how to feel about my scar. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, I will never, and I will never, like, if I die in my house and my wife is home when I died and nothing happened to her, she killed me because of this conversation happened. I will never tell a woman when she's menstruating how to deal with it. I don't want that. I literally don't want that blood on my hands.
No, you don't.
I'm not getting in that. There's just certain things I'm not qualified, and frankly, I'm uncomfortable talking about because I don't understand. And I'm one of those people, like I said earlier when me and AJ were just on, was sometimes it's better for people to believe you're stupid and be silent than it is to speak up and prove them right. I'm not getting in that combo, bro. I don't want that blood on my hands. Literally and figuratively, no.
I put it to you like this. In situations where like, you know, someone is going through their struggles or you're going through, you know, something like some sort of ism, whether it be racism or, you know, like against someone against homosexuality, whatever the case may be, I don't ask, you know, are you okay or anything like that. My first question is, how can I help? Because me asking you, are you okay, is a waste of time, and it's stupid because obviously you're not. If you were okay, I wouldn't be asking you, are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking, how can I help? What can I do? Because rather than sit here and waste time and try to console, you know, a little Band-Aid wound, I could probably help fix the problem that caused the wound in the first place. And that's kind of, in my eyes, that's what we need more in the world, is just more people just saying, look, I see you're going through this, but how can I help? We'll deal with the semantics of it later. How can I help? What can I do now?
Mm-hmm. I think that's super important, and I think Christians need to do that. I think Christians, this is why I keep saying, where did the church fail? The black and white community. I feel like the church we really should be the most empathetic and sympathetic people, but unfortunately, as a majority, we are not, and we all have to speak. We all have to take responsibility for that. But for me, like, I feel like, and I didn't want to just stay on topic, but this is why I don't subscribe to like religion. I have a relationship with God. You feel me? Like, I am a Christian. I have a relationship with God. But I recognize like religious verbiage where they're like, oh, just pray about it. I'm like, yo, this person's like in distress. Let's get his breathing down for a second. Or better yet, like, you know, if we're not going to lend our hands to remedy a situation, we really shouldn't speak on it. Like, I don't want to hear about the kid. I don't want to hear about the kid who has two alcoholic parents that gets brought here to church by his like school friend, how his behavior is toxic and nobody stepped in to remedy it. So I definitely don't want to hear anybody say something and that kid snaps. I don't want to hear anybody talk about that kid. Just keep it straight up and real. I don't want nobody, if it really is just a disservice. You know what I mean? I think of like, and once again, I'm not condoning, but I think about these kids that get bullied and they finally snap and they went to administrations and reached out for counsel and help and they did nothing. But then when this kid snaps, they talk about him snapping, but not about what made him snap. or didn't even step in to remedy and subdue the issue that caused them to snap. I don't want people speaking on that because the church has really done a disservice speaking and not doing. And if we're really going to do Christ work, like one of the things that AJ said earlier was super profound. Jesus did a lot of talking, but his influence was in his actions, man. Like his big influence was in his actions. Like, so that's just kind of how I feel when people white-splain to me. Like, I'm just like, bro, like, even if you are doing it, I'm like, what have you done to help? So you guys are to my Laura, you are to my left. Robert, you are underneath me. But either one of you can go first. How do y'all feel about like even like that, like just like that, just the term white-splaining, the definition behind it, and you don't have to admit it, but like if you've done it, and then like, do you see like the problem with it?
I have done it. I ain't gonna lie, not recently, but when I was younger, I have definitely white-splained some stuff just because I didn't know, for one, what I was talking about. For two, I had never been in that situation. So I agree with you when you said that if, like, me being white could not stand up and testify to what you, the black man, is going through. I get that. I'm never going to be that, so I shouldn't be the spokesperson, and if I don't know about it, I shouldn't speak about it.
And then to
I've
go
learned
back
that the hard way.
Hopefully they were graceful about it, but
Yes,
and then
they were.
and then going back to people that lend their voices about this issue, like, you know, the protests and everything and the riots, like none of these, like I've noticed, especially within church members, like, and I've had conversations with these people, they're not going to buy my album and they're not going to buy my merch. That's cool. God bless you. Y'all just keep eating that half-cooked chicken. That's fine. But do you see like where the problem is, where people speak up about an issue but don't take the steps that's necessary to remedy it?
Yes, I absolutely do. I see they want to proclaim their Christ, but they don't put actions to their words, and they really just make the situation worse is what happens. They don't understand where you're coming from. A lot of them don't understand how they can help. What they need to understand is that, like you said, just standing up and letting us, you know, like the other one, like AJ said about dang, what was I lost my thought. Sorry. Oh yeah, about instead of kind of putting your mouth on it and having an opinion about it, you're like, oh, how can I help? Like you said, are you okay? Like, that's a waste of time. I agree with that.
I think everybody knows that the black community as a whole is not okay. Like, we're literally like licking wounds right now, but I don't know if I'd even, and maybe, and I hate to disagree with you, AJ, I don't know if I have a problem when people ask me, because at least they're asking, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's just me, and I don't know if that's like terrible thinking, because it is, I mean, if I'm concerned about somebody, I ask questions like that, because if they're not, my approach to how I'm going to help them changes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I agree with that. I ask you that all the time, and that's why I ask you that.
like say if somebody tells me they're fine, and then I'm also gonna go off, if I'm texting them through a text message, I have to go off their words. But if they're looking at me, they're like, I'm fine, and then like they look like malnourished and like spiritually drained and depressed, then obviously I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm going to either ask you again or give you a hug. Are you okay? That's only because like I have that heart to do that, because I rather them tell me, all right, guys, Robert just says he's got to go. Nice meeting y'all. That is Lori and Robert that he doesn't know. He knows me. He knows this dork. But Robert's going to bed, everybody. Appreciate everything you were able to speak, man. Appreciate you lending your voice and lending your ears, especially. There's definitely a difference between hearing somebody and listening to somebody. I just wanted to let you know I appreciate it. You can say goodnight to me at least.
I love you too, Jordan.
All right.
See y'all later.
All right,
See
man.
you, man.
Keep cooking
Nice
chicken
talking
the
to you.
right way. All right. keep it moving. But yeah, man, like just to kind of touch back on what I'm saying, like I feel like the reason for, at least for me, I can't speak for anybody else, the reason I asked that question is because it dictates how I respond to it. And when I say it dictates to it, like I'm gonna do it to the fullest of my ability. I'm not gonna shortchange. I ain't serving no half-cooked chicken around here. So whatever I need to do and whatever dosage you need of it, I will do that. I just need to know what, not even so much what you need from me, but I need to know like how bad you are or how good you are. Because sometimes, like, some people, like when they're not okay, some people don't want help. Like they kind of need to process it. Like I've been in that place where it gets exhausting explaining like the trauma and the emotional distress I'm going through at this time, where when people like flooding my phone, are you okay? I'm like, bro, let me breathe. Like I not to like to use the words, but it's like, bro, I can't breathe. Like this is really like mentally and emotionally exhausting. Like y'all need to give me that grace to speak up. Like when honestly, when it's healthy for me to speak. And then even that gets annoying because then like people are like, well, why'd you wait so long to say something? I'm like, bro, let's not victim blame. Come on. Like you feel me? Like, yeah, I never understood that. Like, I don't know, man. And I don't have kids. AJ, you as a father, like, would you get mad if like your kid tells you something that deeply, deeply bothers them and it was the, like, when it was brought to them was like late or whatever, like, because I know, I guess, like, for me, because I have, like, my nieces and my nephews, and I guess this is my privilege and my ignorance that I may not be qualified to answer this. I just know that, bro, I'm going to try to fix it now. We'll worry about the logistics later. You know what I mean? But if I'm wrong, let me know. I don't know how you feel about that.
It's when it comes to kids, and it probably even relates to the situation at hand. It's a very, when you're on the side of that, it's very awkward. And I say that because, for example, I had the situation with my daughter about 2 months ago. She was told to go clean her room. She pretty much refused to, and she just sat on the steps crying. And so I was outside at the time. Her uncle told her to go to her room, and when we walked in her room, or when her uncle went to go talk to her, she said she hates her mommy and daddy. So he heard that and came downstairs and told us, and we went upstairs. And she knows not to use the word hate. You know, she knows that that's a strong word. You're not supposed to like use words like that. You could say, I don't like, you right now, but when it comes to your family, saying something like hate is too far. It's too far extreme. So my wife, again, she's the one that does the talking. She tried to talk the situation, and my daughter didn't want to talk. So I pretty much yelled at the top of my voice. I was heated and pretty much yelled at her, and I left the room because I realized that I was getting ready to go and cross the line. Came back and I sat down just like what I always do with my daughter. I come back and I sit down and I talk to her, and I'm like, I want you to tell me why you hate me. Why do you hate me? What did I do? And simple thing. And she was just like, I feel as though you don't make time for me anymore. And when you finally hear, like when you're on the opposing side and you finally ask the questions and you get the answers that, when you get the answers, one, you're not expecting, but when you get it hits you. Then that opens up the dialogue, because now, like I explained to my daughter, it's like it's not that I don't make time for you. It's just you and I have different things going on. While I'm trying to provide for you and everything, that takes up most of my time. But when the time I'm home, you're busy doing something for your school, so our schedules just don't coincide. We had a conversation. We And after that conversation, we had a better understanding of each other. Like even now, my daughter and I, you know, we're a lot better than where we were, say, back in January. And that kind of dialogue definitely needs to happen. You know, like why simple things like why do you feel that, you know, God has betrayed you? Why do you feel as though you need to be a racist? You know, just ask the question.
Why do you hate white people? Like that's another conversation that needs to happen, because like I don't want people so like I get it, Black America. I get what this country has done to us, but unfortunately, we seen what hate does. Hate brought us here. You feel me?
Right.
We can't respond with hate. Like I think about my kids in the future. They're not like, I can't even look them in the eye if they tell me like something that like is hateful is happening, and if I didn't do anything to try to remedy that, I can't even like I can't look them in the eye. You know what I mean? But that's another thing we need to discuss. I get who started the fight, but like, bro, it needs to end. Like, I don't like boxing being like 48 rounds.
Yeah, no one's trying to pay for that.
What the problem really is nobody's listening. Everybody's yelling over top of each other and nobody can hear anything.
I don't want to discredit everybody, but I definitely say majority is not listening. That's why I said to Robert, there's a difference between hearing and listening, because we hear involuntarily. If we ingest what we listen to, though. So
right, listening is a choice. It's something you consciously have to do. And you're right, hearing and listening are two different things. Not enough people are listening to figure out what the problem is so they can remedy it. They're too busy hearing about the riots and about the mean and bad things that people are doing right now, instead of trying to look past what they're doing and to figure out why they're acting out and what's behind and driving the behavior. If more people did that, then we could figure out what the problem was, and then maybe we could do more on the positive side to try to fix it.
The problem is, though, is comfortability at the end of the day. You know, I think of how Jesus, you know, for this man with his mat to get his healing and his miracle, he had to take up his mat. And people don't realize that whole thing, though it was healing and that's beautiful, that whole thing was based around comfortability. Like, comfortability can cripple you. Like, that man was like that because he literally did not move.
Right.
He stayed in a state where he was like, I like sleeping on this side and I'm just not moving. I don't know about y'all. I have back problems. I can't sleep in a whole position the same way every single night. Like, I can't do it.
Nope.
And this dude was like this for years. Take that, multiply it by a nation, add 400 years. Like, Black people are tired of being comfortable with this. Like when I say Black people are being tired, like, I had to check myself. AJ, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but when I see, and this sounds terrible to say, even to think, but this is just a result of it. Like, sometimes when I see like an unarmed Black man get killed, I'm thinking, it's just another one. Another one. DJ Khaled, another one. Like, and that's terrible thinking. Like, I should not be conditioned to that. I shouldn't be numb to that. You feel me? So,
great.
And when it comes to my white brothers and sisters, though this conversation is comfortable, bro, you got to think of what it was like to be like, and this isn't like to compare pain to pain, but you got to think of, bro, these people were snatched out of their homes, taken to a whole different country, and then when in 1865, when slavery was abolished, they're like, what do we do now? We have to operate in a town that's not ours, in a nation that's not ours. Everything that we knew before, we had to get rid of. And like, comfortability, I feel like if in this, and I keep saying this because like marriage is important, and it's relationships only work in twos. Well, actually threes if you're a Christian. You know what I mean? But I think of like, and AJ might be able to attest to this, but if one person is always being pleased and the other person is not being pleased, somebody gonna be unhappy. And because because one is unhappy, the other person gonna be unhappy because of this one always happened to be unhappy. Like AJ, if I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
No, you're absolutely right. Like it's like marriage, if that whole saying, a happy wife, a happy life is BS. It's
Thank
strong
you.
BS. It is, because if my wife is happy and I'm miserable, guess what? That's divorce. If she's miserable and I'm happy, that's divorce. If we're both miserable, that's divorce. You see how that works? But when everything is out of balance, when communication and comprehension are in the works, then everyone can be happy. And that communication is one thing, but you have to have the comprehension. It's like having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You got to have the peanut butter and you got to have the jelly. Otherwise, you don't have it. You don't have the complete meal. You can't have unseasoned chicken.
You can't have half cooked chicken.
Look, you can't have it uncooked. You can't have it halfway cooked. You can't have it uncooked, and you definitely can't have it unseasoned.
Right.
That's you got to have it all the way through. You got to have it thoroughly through.
Woo! Oh,
otherwise,
man.
you have a whole list of problems.
I might as well call this episode "Half Cooked Chicken."
Yes, you should.
Endorsed by Nike.
And I wish Nike cut me a check. What you mean? But thank you guys for all your input. AJ, thank you for everything you said. Thank you for, I'm happy that even though we are both, of the same community, I get a different perspective. One, because you're older than me, you get a different perspective than because you're younger than me. But you also, I get a lot out of you because in a lot of ways with Christianity, it's a marriage and it's supposed to be a unity. And one of the most symbolic versions of unity is marriage. So I'm happy that I was able to bounce things off of you and you were able to correct me if I was wrong in certain ways when I threw in marriage into the mix, because I don't want to speak out of terms in my ignorance. I appreciate you being able to validate, but also veto if I was out of the line with not only just marriage conversations, but anything in general. Even if different opinions that did happen tonight, I still appreciate you being able to lend your voice, but also lend your ears, man.
It's all love, man. It's all love, fam. It's all good.
And Cuzzo, I appreciate you getting up on here. I was kind of thinking, I was like, do I want Lori to be a part of this conversation? Like,
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, does he really want me on here? I'm not so sure.
I mean, I thought about it, I prayed about it, and I was just like, why not? Like, even if it goes bad, somebody had to learn something out of it. A lot of people did not answer the call. I'm not condemning them, folks, on this video. But I appreciate everybody that's watched this. I appreciate everybody that's going to watch this. I don't think I'm going to keep this episode. I might have to split this. This might have to be broken up in a series, honestly, because this is like a 4-hour conversation that me and AJ pretty much had.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, look, man, we dropped gems. We learned we picked up gems from other people. We've sewn in gems to other people. Those gems have been sewn into us. That's really the beauty of this, man. Just coming together, just like, heaven's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to be of different creeds and different sizes and shapes, different colors, but we all are loved by Christ at the end of the day. So this is the Kid Casper podcast. I'm going to sign off from recording. I appreciate all my panelists that came in tonight, and y'all be careful out there. Be safe, man. We already are dealing with the COVID-19 virus, but there's a virus that we can exterminate, and we do have a remedy for, and that's the love of Christ. But we have to apply it. This is to the Christians especially. If we're going to cure this virus that is man-made and is rooted from sin, we have to apply the love of Christ. That's the only way that this is going to be remedied. And We can't do that if we're at war with each other. And we can't fix the war outside if we don't fix the tension in our homes, and that's the church, and that's our communities, and that's the conversations that we have at home with our kids. So this is the Kid Casper. Botch that part. I'm editing that out. But this is the Kid Casper podcast. Thank you everybody for tuning in.